One moment. All right, second try. This is the Hastings Plan Commission for November 13th, 2023, 7 p.m. normal meeting. Call the meeting to order. And first up is the approval of the minutes for October 23rd, 2023 regular meeting. Commissioners, any updates? Nope. Okay. If none, we'll consider those to be approved. Third item is public hearing, City of Hastings Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2023-44, change the future land use designation from medium density residential to low density residential, South Oaks of Hastings, 4th edition. Staff report by John Hinsman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Planning Commissioners, this property and this project may look familiar to you all here, and we have taken action on this. What's that? Oh, it's not coming over? Let's try this. Let's see if that's any better here. Yeah, how about this? Is that?
It's like a buzzy feedback.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Okay, 1 second here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill Zoom here because I think that's what's causing the problem. Okay. So we're done on that. Okay. Now, hopefully, that'll be a bit better. How about now? That's still. Yeah, I can hear that tinny thing over here. I don't know what that is.
The sound for the room is bad.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that one. But the property we're looking at, geez, that is annoying, isn't it? Okay, maybe here, turn this down. Okay, I'm turning down, geez, the internal volume in here, so it's not tinny, which it still is tinny. Microphones, yeah, but I don't have anything more to try on this one. All right. Well, I'll make this quick then. We've got a comprehensive plan amendment here, folks, on the property that we just approved as South Oaks of Hastings 4th edition. Officially, we're changing the land use map, the future land use map, from medium density to low density residential. You may ask, well, why didn't we do this when we had the project before us a couple weeks ago? And that's a fair question. It was something that I inadvertently missed at that time, and it's something that needs to be done now. So this does not change any aspect of the development that we've already approved. What it does is change that land use, which for future development has a range of under 8 units per acre, and to this development is 5.7. It would be consistent with it. So that is the extent of what we're doing. Here's the map itself of what we're changing. We're changing what's designated here in the white, that is orange to yellow, essentially. So that is the action we have before us tonight, and this is a public hearing. You can open it up at this time, where I could stand for any questions.
Okay, John, thanks. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak on the amendment? Nope. Anyone on Zoom? Nope. Okay. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
There wasn't before either.
All right. I'll close the public hearing, open it up to commissioners. Any questions, comments? Basically just an administrative.
It is. It changes the map. That would be the only effect it would have.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve the comprehensive plan amendment, South Oaks of Hastings 4th edition.
All right, motion to approve, second.
Second?
Commissioner McGrath, second. Any further discussion? If no new discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion
Aye.
carries. And that motion carries. So, thanks.
Get into the record.
All right. All right, next up is public hearing, City of Hastings Ordinance Amendment 2023-45, Cannabis and Hemp. John, continue.
I'll continue on here. We have an ordinance amendment before us to change a couple of items within zoning pertaining to cannabis and hemp. You may recall that last year, we adopted some performance standards within the zoning code for cannabis sale and hemp sale within the city of Hastings. Cannabis products, which include THC-infused beverages, within establishments with an on or off-sale liquor license. Under the current regulations, you cannot sell THC-infused beverages or cannabis products within a liquor store, on or off sale. So that would allow that today. Within that designation, there's two ways that it could happen. One is if that on or off sale liquor license establishment zone C3 or C4, which is most of the commercial districts within the city, anything within downtown Vermilion Street, Highway 55, down by 316, they could sell any intoxicating cannabis product. So it would not limit it just to THC beverages, but the whole slew of intoxicating cannabis products within a liquor establishment. If your property is not zone C3 or C4, then it would be limited to THC-infused beverages only. Now, in this situation, I'm not aware of anything off the top of my head that would qualify for that. We put this in there for future reference in case something were to come about on that one. So that is what we have going forward for a change. We did have our Public Safety Committee of City Council look at this recently, reviewed the proposed changes, and we're supportive of the inaction of that. So what we're looking at tonight is a zoning portion of these cannabis and hemp ordinances. There's also some other ordinances within licensing that the City Council would look at in coordination with this. So this is a public hearing, so you can open it up at this time, or I can stand for any questions.
Okay, thanks, John. All right, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone here wish to speak? Nope. All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and we'll open up to commissioners. Commissioner Tyken?
I'm confused. Why are we separating out the C3 and C4 for this? What's kind of the history of that?
Yeah, the C3 and C4 are the main commercial districts that we have. I mean, so that they have a larger variety of commercial operations within there. When you get into C1 and C2 districts, their types of uses are much more limited. So the thought was you could allow the full slew of cannabis-related products within these districts here, but when you get into a C1 or C2 where you have much more limited amounts of uses, we thought we'd limit it just to THC beverages. So that was the rationale for it.
How many liquor stores are not in the C3, C4?
I don't know if there's any, frankly, at this point. I think we got a situation where we did have a liquor store operate within there in the future that this would have this requirement within it. I don't think it has any practical effect right now because I believe all the liquor stores and bars are either C3 or C4 presently.
This is just, it is on sale and off sale.
On and off, yes.
I guess I'm just struggling with why we distinguish between THC and cannabis
Yeah.
in a liquor store.
Yeah.
No other restrictions around liquor stores. I was just curious.
Yeah. I mean, within the city itself, I mean, that was the rationale that was discussed by the committee. I don't have a lot more information on that one.
Do you know if there's like a difference in the intoxication of cannabis versus THC?
I don't think so. I mean, THC is the active ingredient for,
Right.
for mood alteration within cannabis. So THC is really the regulatory aspect of effect. So, yeah, it's a fair question. If you're going to have this effect, does it matter what type of substance it's being provided through? I don't have a good answer to that question.
And I guess I get it. We don't have any in the C3 or C4, or not in the C3 or C4 right now, but if we did, why are we treating those differently?
If they were to go into C3 and C4 in the future, they still would have the full gamut of sale items on
Right.
that.
That's why I'm saying, like, they could sell, if it was not a C3 or C4, they could sell any liquor, cannabis, but not THC.
Right. If it's not C3 or C4, then they would be limited to just the THC beverages, correct?
I think Commissioner Tegan's referring to C1 and C2.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's a C1 or C2, why would they be limited to only the THC?
Yeah. Yeah, rationale for that is there's limited uses within those districts to begin with, so there was a limitation placed upon the sale of THC products to just beverages. It's a fair question, but I think that was the rationale for it.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, commissioners, excuse me, any other questions? Is this kind of in relation to all the conversations that city council has been having when they changed the laws and about THC and just trying to bring it all in line with state law and just trying to get a handle on it, regulatory, not regulating it, but managing it, I guess would be the most appropriate term.
Yeah, I mean, when we adopted the original THC ordinances here, we were a little bit ahead of what was happening at the state capitol at that point, and we did it a little bit different than perhaps some cities where we had a zoning ordinance portion of it as well as licensing. Most cities would just focus on the licensing end of it, so that's why this portion related to zoning district comes through the zoning code and through planning commission tonight. The discussions that the council have had in general have been, there's a prohibition right now against liquor stores and on-sale liquor establishments being able to provide THC products. It appears that there are members of the council that wanted to see that changed, and so that's why we're looking at this tonight. The method of how we get there, whether we do C3, C4 differently than others, it's a fair question.
Okay, thanks. Commissioners? Any other discussion? Commissioner McGrath?
I'm sort of stuck on the same question, and I think I guess I personally would like to have a little bit more explanation before moving forward, because it seems like it's just a happenstance of what commercial district you're in or commercial zone you're in. So I'm a little bit confused about that.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So refresh me again on what we did for the zoning for cannabis products, what districts they're allowed in. They have to go through a permit, not a permit, but a
Yeah, I believe
application
it's,
for use or something.
yeah, Commissioner, I believe it's a special use permit within certain districts. I think the C3 and C4. I don't have the full ordinance in front of me here.
So you're thinking that we only allow them in C3 or C4?
Yeah.
But this would open up liquor stores in C1 and C2
I think what it,
to sell THC.
and I may be wandering here a little bit without full knowledge of what I'm talking about.
All right, sorry.
I'll preface that by saying that right now, but.
I'm just wondering why we're treating this class of people different than the other
It's a
class.
fair question. I believe that the cannabis sales that you have right now are limited to special use permits within the C3 and C4 district, period. So if you have a C1 or C2, you can't have cannabis at all. So what this ordinance is doing here, I believe, is it's allowing everything in liquor establishments in C3 and C4 and opening the door to saying, hey, if you're a liquor store outside of C3 and C4, a C1 or C2, you can sell THC beverages, but that's it. I think that's where we came down on C3 and 4 is because under the original cannabis code, those are the only areas by special use permit that you can have a cannabis sale. I believe I'm right on that, but
Okay.
I wouldn't
No,
take that to the bank.
I'm starting to remember that now that we.
I am too.
But when we also did that ordinance, we said no liquor stores will be able to sell cannabis, right?
We did.
And why did we do that? And now we're coming back and saying that we're going to change that.
Yeah. Fair question. That was the original proposal taken through. There was some questions I remember when council reviewed that original ordinance, questioning why we had a prohibition on liquor store sales of that. But the rationale was, hey, let's adopt the ordinance as it is right now. We'll discuss putting that in as a change potentially later.
And there's other things that we don't allow liquor stores to do, like sell food, right?
So what?
Sell food.
Not certain of that.
Okay. I thought that we talked about something that was, I don't know if you remember, but. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I got right now.
Commissioner Hubbard, do you have something?
Is there a way, John, that we could table this to get more clarification on the reasonings between the C3 and 4 versus not, and also revisit what we had talked about when we did the whole original what can and can't be sold? Because I remember that too, where we talked about the liquor stores couldn't sell anything else.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row and that we're all trying to remember the best we can before we move on and approve something. I'd like to hear more rationale between why the Public Safety Committee said that this zone can.
Okay.
And just make sure that we're completely in line, if that makes sense to everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got other items scheduled for the 27th, so I can add this to it.
Would it help to have a map of the C1, C2, C3,
Yeah.
C4s?
Yeah.
So that we can see that and look to see why they omitted C1 and C2? Where they're located. I do have the general one up here. It just says commercial and it's all in red from the website here, but it doesn't break it down 1, 2, 3, and 4. It just shows red. So if you follow it, it's logical why it's that way. But I'd like to see specifically where C1 and C2 lie versus C3 and C4, and it's probably going to explain exactly what we're asking, because I'm sure that they omitted those maybe because they were too close to neighborhoods.
That's what I was just going to ask, neighborhoods or schools.
Something. There's some trigger in there that made them think, okay, maybe not C1 and C2, but I can't see that on the map here because it doesn't break it down. It just shows the commercial.
Sure. No, absolutely. We
Just
can, if the commission would like to table this tonight, we could certainly bring that back in 2 weeks with further explanation.
Okay. Well, if so,
Then, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion, the official motion to table the amending of the City Code Chapter 155.07J THC beverage sales until we have more clarification.
all right, Commissioner Hauberg on the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Commissioner Tyken. Any new or further discussion? Nope. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
Okay, we'll bring that forward back on November 27th. And as we're talking about the November 27th meeting, in 2 weeks, we'll have that coming back. We'll also have a public hearing for another ordinance amendment pertaining to the Mississippi River Critical Corridor area. We had an open house earlier tonight. We had about 20 people or so in attendance, more of a question and answer type of session. And so was able to take down some notes, and Justin and I will be working on that. And we'll have the public hearing and the ordinance before you for the 27th, along with the tabling of the cannabis ordinance. That's all the action that I have before you tonight that I know of coming forward on the 27th. Council met last week on the 6th. They did approve the special use permit for the former Red Wing Dental for BMMK, and then the site plan and special use permit for the new auto garage on Lightbourne Court. So both those were approved, and in fact, the Lightbourne Court sale, we've already closed on that one with Hedra earlier this week, and so they're finishing up their building plans, and we'll see what happens with the season, if they get started with something or not. But, so that one moved forward. We talked earlier tonight with Confluence that we had a recognition there for Hedra and council there, and for the other night for the opening of that facility. So that was great to see. And one of the things we are looking for right now are planning commissioners. We have one vacant seat that we've had for most of the year here. And anyone who may be interested in joining the planning commission, please look at the website or give me a call on that one. We'd love to be able to fill that seat here. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, John. Commissioners, any other business topics? Nope. Nope. Okay. Okay, otherwise I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
All right, Commissioner Tyken, second. Commissioner
Second.
McGrath, second, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.